going to try this again. I just tried to record this and the sound wasn't working, so I'm going to run through these real quick. We'll start with the altcoin. That's Pyre. I just went with a random altcoin. Um, we drew some volume profiles here, and we've got some channels here. We've broken out of this smaller channel up into this upper channel. Now we're back under the value area low, and what we're hoping to do is hold the top of this upper channel. Hopefully this turns into a deviation as we sit here between the old value area high and the top of this channel. If we can reclaim the channel as support and lift back up, I'd have a take profit here. Uh, let's see at this value area low. Have another one here at this midpoint, and then the value area high, where I'd hope to come back and start to gather support to break out of this upper channel and continue on. That would be what I'd be looking for on Pyre. Let me switch back over to here. And yeah, we're not looking too bad right now, but really want to hold this area. We could swipe down underneath because we have these co-equal lows, which means there's probably a lot of liquidity down here in this range. I'd almost expect come down, take those first, and then come up and start to test this for support. But either way, I do want this upper channel here to hit support before I would go into this one. Move on to Netflix. Netflix, I can take these off because they were only really for Pyre. For Netflix, we just keep going higher, right? So we have our liquidity up here at the very high, the prior high. We have our monthly level up here. This is the top. And I would expect, because we're past all that, I'm not going to put the fibs on here. Because we're past all that, I would expect it to come up and we'll probably pull back down under. This is our area of solid support at the moment, our big demand zone. So the way I would play it would be to look for a break above here, maybe a short-term short if we show a sign of weakness and close back under this line, and hope for support here. As long as we held this area of support, I'd be looking to run the rest of this possible butterfly pattern up to about $838. At that point, that's where I'd start looking for a turnaround. That would be my plan anyway. We do have a good sized gap here that almost lines up with this gap, but yeah, we do have a good sized gap here that we may come back down into sooner than later. And we got another gap here, but now we're starting to get pretty low. I wouldn't expect this unless something really happens very wrong with Netflix, which that's impossible to predict unless you're an insider trader, or whole market starts to turn back over. And if the whole market turns over, then yes, of course, stocks like Netflix and we'll go over Microsoft, they're going to suffer as well. But until that happens, we just have to ride the current momentum. The current momentum is still bullish. I mean, yeah, we haven't broken a new high yet, but we are trending there quite well. So I'm going to move on from Netflix into Microsoft, which, a lot like Netflix, Microsoft is quite bullish, only we have broken well over the prior high. We've kind of established a good support and demand zone here in this green box. And that gives us an excellent area to measure in for possible crashes. We've extended past our larger danger harmonic zone, right? So you guys wouldn't know when I was watching this because I haven't posted it up here. But we had the possibility of running a shark here at the 1618 and back down into the close enough 886 or the 113. There we go. Now, is this likely? No. I don't think it is. I'd say very low odds. And the higher we go, the less odds there are because the higher we get away from that 116, the less chance of this being an actual shark top exists. So unless we turn around hard and start forming lower highs underneath here, I wouldn't be looking at that shark. In fact, I wouldn't even look at it until we broke under this green. At that point, then I'd start looking at those 886 and 113 retracements. Until then, we're still riding quite well up into these up, up up into these new highs. I don't have upper targets because we've hit my common upper targets. The 1618 expansion, and now we could possibly go in with the 2618. It's not that big of a stretch, really. Um, Not if you consider other other AI heavy stocks have done like Nvidia. Um, just buy support would be my biggest mantra on this. If we come back down 618, lining up here with this prior low, and also yeah, fixed range volume profile, high volume area. Yeah, right there, volume point of control. Uh, Not until you break under this and sustain into this line would I be concerned. So, hey, look, ride that trend, ride that wave as long as you can. So let's move on into SQ. This is FinTech. This is another thing that I've also been watching along with PayPal. Now, I prefer PayPal, though both FinTech and PayPal are suffering pretty good. But and this is drawn out longer than I had anticipated. I was really hoping that this deviation was it and that we were ready to break back up over this channel and hit that 50% retracement. But this is a rather weak shark. We didn't quite complete our C. We got close enough, I think, but it's not 100% there. So for me, this shark is a low probability play. Really, what I'm looking for is to hold these lower ends of the channel. So if we come back down into here, hit the 618, the value area low, or let's say anywhere in here is where we're looking for support. So if we hit this and it starts to show support and climb back above and test, that's what we're looking for is that support here because then we know if we break back under and break back under this 618, we have an easy invalidation and we're just making a bigger M pattern and it falls back under. And that's not what we want to see. We don't want to buy something 58 and then hold it all the way down into the 30s. So step down into the zone, find support, get back over this value area high. Sorry, the volume point of control at least, and then try to take it back up to the top. I definitely take some profits out here. 77 and 83, 81. Definitely have some profits out at that, and then target maybe this prior high up here, 148.51, and then hopeful targets at 177.22. All right, let's look at Nakamoto. I already drew all over this one. Let me take some of those out. But yeah, let's see. How much drawing did I do? Again, it's one of those cases where we're sitting on what's possible support, but we haven't turned it into support just yet. We have some more down here we could fall into. And if this is a deviation here at the low, this channel that we just broke under, then we want to see it come back up, hold as support. This would be our hop level, harmonic optimal price level for this bat pattern. But again, that hasn't had the greatest reaction. We didn't quite get a type 1. We didn't hit the 382. So maybe if we come down just a little bit more, hit the hop and start to turn around to gain, say we come down, start to gain support here and come back up, and this will be our deviation. And on that deviation with support, then we could go with a buy or a long, run it up at least to 205 for that target one, and possibly save some here for two and a half for target two. That's not a bad run, for an altcoin even that's still a pretty good run. So that's what I'd be looking for on Nakamoto at the moment. Now, are we breaking new highs? I don't know yet because we did form a new low. So we have lower low. We could possibly get a lower high, something like head and shoulders, I guess, um, and run it back down. I don't really know. But that would be my play on it personally. And before we go to our last one, ACB, give a minute to our sponsor, Market Makers. Well, not really a sponsor, but that's where you guys can find most of my videos on most of my updates, like the vast majority. Here we go. Find my TA where I post often, lots of charts, not just me. We have a lot of other coaches, we have a lot of other chats, go over a lot of things, and also we have a lot of indicators. I have mine as well for free for members. There are also others that you can get, and we have signals. So give it a try, check it out, give it a month or so. It's a lot more affordable than a lot of other sites. I can speak of that from experience. Um, but like if you can't afford it or if you're not interested, that's on you. I'm not going to pressure you. Just I think it's worthwhile. So now let's go on to ACB, our last one here. And this was a tough one because we're coming down. I mean, look at this weekly chart. We're just coming down. It gets even worse. So if I go into the monthly, right, this is not what I like to see stocks do. Um, gotta turn that off. This is not what I like to see stocks do. I mean, look at this. This was all hype and excitement of the whole cannabis thing for a while, and I'm assuming this is one of the big boys who's going to make it. Well, now we're waiting on legislation, and I don't think it's a priority. Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be a priority on a larger level. Maybe someday, and even if it is this the company that's going to take it? Because we're looking at a company that posts a loss with earnings pretty much every report. It's living on borrowed money, and it's been in business for a while, living on borrowed money. So it doesn't mean there's not a trade to be made. It's just not something I would personally myself invest in. Now, if you want to make your own investments, that or pick well, you should make and pick your own investments, and you should consult a actual financial advisor for those. Um, because I could be dead wrong, right? I mean, you don't want to go off of what you heard some guy on the internet say. That's terrible advice for investing. Um, but for a trade, and again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just telling you what I would do with mine. I'd be looking. Yeah, I can see this coming back down. We got the 618, but I really kind of think we'd fall into this demand zone, and then if we fell further, we could hit this secondary level, maybe spike down here into the 886, and this would be what I would like to see and find support. And if we hit that and found support back up into our demand zone, I could be tempted to take a small position and try to run that through a completion of this bearish butterfly, which would be up here at 1263. So that would be my calculated gamble on this. So that's what I would like to see. Anyway, I can definitely see a spike up hitting this liquidity, knocking out new shorts, right? And then coming back down when everyone's buying up, saying, "Hey, we made a new high. It's bull time." Come back down, and then possibly even if you're really bullish, come back down to the 618 from C to D and form a nice wave 1 2, maybe continue up. If you're really optimistic on the stock, That could be the signal for the turnaround. Anyway, that's still some time off. This has been it's been ongoing for a long time. The one positive we do have is we're starting to get some scoop, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's coming back. They don't always come back. It could just be a scoop to start shaking out leverage before this thing eventually falls off the grid and dies. Um, I'm going to wrap this up now. And yeah, maybe in a couple weeks we'll do this again. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.